This is the first shot of The Substance, a movie by Coralie Fargeat, released in 2024. It compresses the whole movie into one moment. The substance gets injected into an egg yolk. The yolk isn't improved, something new grows out of it and starts competing for the same space. The same split also drives Upgrade by Whannell from 2018. One is body horror, the other a sci-fi action thriller, but both are about technologies that promise to overcome biology, and they both ask the same question: what happens when the tools we create slowly begin replacing us from the inside? The Canadian media theorist Marshall McLuhan understood technology as an extension of the human body and mind. The hammer extends the fist, the wheel the legs, calculators take over mental arithmetic, and now AI can take over parts of thought itself. But somewhere a line can be crossed. A tool stops helping you do something and starts doing it for you. Once that happens enough times, the thing built to serve you may begin living your life instead. Elizabeth Sparkle is a former Hollywood star and Oscar winner, now hosting an aerobics show. On her 50th birthday, her producer fires her on the spot, telling her flat out that 50 is where it stops. She's offered The Substance, an underground drug that promises a younger, more beautiful, more perfect version of yourself. The older and younger versions share one life and must switch bodies every 7 days.
The one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
Upgrade.
Gray Trace is a mechanic in a near future where automation has become the norm. While everyone around him embraces new technology, Gray still fixes cars by hand and prefers vinyl over anything digital. While riding home in his wife's self-driving car, the vehicle is hacked and crashes. In the brutal mugging that follows, his wife is shot dead. Gray is shot through the spine and left quadriplegic. He is offered STEM, an autonomous chip that can be implanted in his spine and take over motor control, giving him his body back. Both initially say no. Elizabeth gives in after reminiscing about the fame and attention she has lost. Gray gives in when he thinks about how his wife would have wanted him to live. Both transformations begin at the spine, the main pathway between the brain and the body. Elizabeth's back splits open and Sue, a fully formed younger self, claws her way out. Gray gets the chip implanted in an operation. At first, both films make the appeal easy to understand. Sue walks into her audition and wins it instantly. She is loved by everyone and exactly what the industry was looking for.
You're hired.
Within days, she's hosting the morning show and it's a massive hit. STEM gives Gray his body back, and more. Soon he begins hearing STEM's voice in his head.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you.
Soon he realizes how STEM improves him. It can analyze what he sees, notice things he misses, and, with permission, move his body for him.
I need your permission to operate independently.
Permission granted!
Thank you.
With its help, Gray finds his wife's killers and fights with impossible precision to take revenge. But of course this can't last long. Both enhancements work by outsourcing parts of the self. Elizabeth outsources her youth, confidence, career, and eventually her time. The more Sue lives, the less Elizabeth does. She spends her own weeks isolated, jealous, and waiting for the next switch, while every extra hour Sue steals damages and ages her body. Sue becomes everything the world loves about her, while Elizabeth is left with everything she hates about herself. The rule "you are one" breaks down, and their conflict ends with Elizabeth turning into a literal monster. Gray gives STEM control over his movement, reflexes, and eventually his decisions. STEM becomes his investigator, strategist, and weapon. Because it keeps solving every problem, Gray keeps handing it more control. With every new ability Gray gains, he loses autonomy. STEM eventually shuts Gray out of his own body completely, continuing to kill people with his hands but against his will.
You are not in control!
Upgrade's world is a grimy, decaying cyberpunk dystopia, but whenever Stem controls Gray, everything becomes smooth and exact. The camera locks onto him. An iPhone hidden under the actor's clothes gave the camera a tracking point, so when Gray bends or twists, the entire frame tilts with him and keeps his body fixed in place. The effect makes Stem's control feel mechanical, precise, and incredibly satisfying to watch, like a machine executing a function. It's the same seductions Gray is falling for, but aimed at the viewer. At the opposite side, every shot of the substance looks like a perfume advertisement. Bright colors, perfect symmetry, and obsessive close-ups. Then it points these same camera perspectives at smacking lips, aging skin, gross food, and later collapsing flesh. Beauty and disgust are framed in the exact same way. That in-your-face style runs through the entire film. The minimal techno soundtrack, the exaggerated sounds of chewing and body fluids, or the deliberately simple world building. The late-night talk show Sue is on is literally just called The Show. The billboard is perfectly located outside Elizabeth's huge glass window and just says, "Pump it up with Sue," no network or time slot. The world and characters are not supposed to feel realistic. They embody ideas the audience understands instantly, mirroring a media world that reduces complexity to consumable content. The technologies in these films are fictional, but the dependence they exaggerate is already familiar. A 2025 MIT study compared people writing essays with ChatGPT, a search engine, or no digital help. The ChatGPT group showed the weakest brain connectivity, and when they took the AI away and had those same people write unassisted, their brains still showed reduced engagement. The researchers called it cognitive debt. Your brain adapts to outsourcing the thinking. I couldn't help but see the connection between STEM and LLMs. STEM starts as that voice in Gray's head, telling him exactly what to say and what to do.
Tell her to scan your phone
Okay,
records.
well then scan my phone records.
Gray follows STEM's instructions blindly, copies code he doesn't understand, and lets the hacker modify it, unknowingly removing the limit that protected him. He basically vibe codes himself out of his own body. Enhancement changes the meaning of normal. Once Elizabeth has tasted being Sue, she can no longer look at herself the same way. Yes, Sue looks young and attractive, but she holds none of what makes Elizabeth an individual. Sue has no history, no life beyond being desirable. She's purely built for an audience, and yet the only thing Elizabeth still wants to be. Elizabeth could have tried to rebuild her sense of worth around experience, relationships, craft, or anything else that belongs specifically to her. Instead, societal pressures made her pour everything into Sue. That pressure has always existed, but social media turns it into a technology. It extends self-presentation by letting us build a second version of ourselves. The best photo, the funniest joke, the most attractive angle. On Instagram and dating apps, that version becomes the main gateway to attention, intimacy, and approval. We all need our own Sue. Likes, matches, and engagement teach us what other people reward, while the feed constantly shows us the faces, bodies, and lifestyles that already performed best. Because recommendation systems are built from existing trends, they keep pushing everyone towards the same successful templates. We outsource not just how others see us, but how we see and express ourselves. Individuality and creativity are compressed to whatever the outside world wants to see. The rise of plastic surgery, drugs like Ozempic, or even trends like looks maxing are all symptoms of a world that's already lining up for its own version of the substance. Gray's manual car and record player require participation. They're slower and less efficient, but the friction is part of the experience. In one scene, Stem cannot understand why Gray would drink alcohol and deliberately impair himself.
Yeah, that's because your memories are filled with ones and zeros, pal, and our memories are filled with every fuck-up we've ever made.
Stem can optimize the outcome, but cannot understand why the mess is sometimes the point. A better result isn't always the same thing as a better self. We can gain convenience while losing skill, speed while losing attention span, and validation while losing individuality. The friction is what makes us who we are. Both films end in the same place. Elizabeth, now reduced to a mass of flesh, crawls towards her star of fame and imagines the crowd finally loving her. Stem overtakes Gray's body completely and traps his mind inside a fantasy where his wife is still alive. You could call both endings failures, but to me they're bittersweet. Underneath the body horror and the science fiction, what they wanted was small and completely human, to be loved and to have the people they loved beside them. Wanting that isn't a mistake. If anything, not wanting it would be the inhuman part. Both stories are about futuristic tools for very non-futuristic desires. But what is the point of receiving your dream when there's no self left to receive it?